trying again. Oh boy, here we go. Alright, so let me make certain I am live on YouTube because I had the wrong title. Alright. We're live on YouTube. We should be live on Periscope as well as Facebook. So let me make certain about that. Alrighty. How are you guys doing? Hopefully people are checking it out. I haven't seen anybody pop on yet. Yes, we're on Facebook. And we are on, let's see. I make certain we're on Periscope. Alright. Hello. Howdy, howdy. I might be struggling a little bit with my body's trying to have a cold. Okay. So, I'm a little bit late, so that's alright. So, people have been fighting for ducks. I have about 3. Hello. Hello, Canterbury. From Wayne from Canterbury, England. Hello, Nather. Hello, Jen. My voice sounds a bit funny because I think my body's trying to get sick, but that's okay. We have an interesting show today. We have a very interesting show today. We're going to talk about ducks. If you haven't learned something about ducks today, we're going to have lots of fun with them because they're pretty freaking weird. So I've learned a lot of things I never thought I needed to know about ducks. So, really quickly, I do want to say that this was voted on and tied, almost tied like 3 weeks in a row. So I thought I would go ahead and give ducks their own little episode, even though they were like really, they were second place each time, but they were very close to first. So I need to kind of preempt this with a little bit of information here. So while there are amazing things about ducks, including their bills, cute little baby ducks, quacking, and all this sort of thing, ducks are far more interesting and a bit disturbing if you have never looked at their anatomy and reproductive practices for that matter. So as a warning, if you have little ones who are watching and you don't want them to learn about duck rapists, homosexual necrophiliacs, probably best to check the stream out a bit later, or at least usher them out of the room for a bit, because ducks are pretty freaking weird. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty-dighty. So, ducks. What are we going to talk about with ducks? Well, we're going to talk about how do they reproduce compared to other birds. How are they comparing to other birds? We're going to talk a bit about what is with their society, man. And how is this an evolution oddity? They have so many weird things about them that you wouldn't really expect to have. It looks like I'm covering up some of my stuff there, so apologies in that. So what is with their society, this sort of thing. So yes, Andy, Duck Dodgers in the 24th, the 1.5 century. Isn't that Tom Jones did that particular song for the cartoon, which is kind of funny. So, a little bit about ducks and how weird they are. Duck anatomy. The females have fake vaginas and the males have corkscrew ballistic penises. So if this is something that you haven't had the pleasure of learning about, we are going to learn a little bit about this today because they're pretty freaking weird. So what are we talking about? You can't trust duck veterinarians, they're quackers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ducks are pretty strange. I have to say, male ducks in particular, male ducks have ballistic corkscrew penises that grow in length when it is time to copulate. So the length depends entirely on other male ducks around. So essentially, male ducks have the evolutionary traits that have developed them into becoming a literal penis length contest. So, male ducks, however, tend to be conservative in their penis length when around ducks who have smaller penises than they do. So what happens is this. So when it comes time to have copulation and start making babies, male ducks actually have their penis internally. And then they'll bring out their penis and they'll add tissue to it to make it a lot larger. But they tend to be conservative about their penis length if other male ducks around them have smaller penises, because then they don't need to add so much tissue to theirs. So they'll be kind of prudent and efficient in the length of their penises in that regard. So here's the thing. Over time, duck penises do wither over the course of a few weeks. So male ducks will not waste their penis tissue trying to outdo ducks with smaller phalluses. So there's just not much sense in that. So certain species of ducks also shoot their penises into the female duck as a means to impregnate them. So scientists at Yale are actually trying to get ducks to shoot their ballistic penises into test tubes so they can further study ducks and their reproductive organs. How crazy is that? So, warning ahead, warning, penis pic is imminent. Coming up right now. I am basically going to give you a duck dick pic. So, hang in there. You're about to get some weirdness now. If I can get my picture to work. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do. So, you guys ready? Corkscrew penis, guys! You just happen to be an Oregon Ducks fan. Go on. Corkscrew penises. There you go. They can get even longer than that, to as long as half the length of the duck's body. And it twists in counterclockwise way. It can go in all kinds of this way. This is pretty interesting. So, you've been on the internet long enough. Don't worry. Oh my goodness. That pun quacked you up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so there's a corkscrew ballistic penis, and they shoot right off and go right into the female for some of the species. So that's pretty interesting. That's something new I learned today about ducks. They have ballistic penises. So essentially, ducks are a strange lot of animals. They exhibit counterproductive reproductive behaviors in biology that seem to go against a positive movement, moving them forward in evolution. So male ducks evolved these corkscrew penises in order to keep up with females. Females have passageways inside their reproductive organs that lead to nowhere. It is like a twisted maze that can block off areas so males cannot access it. Why did females actually involve this trait? Twisted for her pleasure. Here's the thing, Jen. Funny thing. Duck penises can also have all kinds of different textures on the outside. It can be ribbed. It can have little spots on it. It can have different types of spiky things. It can have all kinds of different protrusions along on the outside to give it different types of texture. Not unlike something that you would see possibly at a sci-fi convention in the more adult-oriented types of toy section, if that is your jam. And if you've been to one of those things. You could look on the internet for alien phalluses, and it's going to be something like that. And you could probably get it in all kinds of colors. I read that in an article this morning that one particular scientist had said it's essentially like that. So just imagine Captain Kirk going to a store of different alien phalluses, and you're probably going to find something that looks like a duck penis. I'm just saying. So, oh my goodness. Just say that, right? Oh goodness. So, All right, so when we're talking about females, so ducks have these corkscrew penises. There's a reason why they have these crazy looking phalluses, and that's largely due to the fact that females have evolved a twisted labyrinth of internal reproductive organs to block off certain areas from other male ducks. Yes, literally female ducks can get corkscrewed, but it's a bit more disturbing than that. So why is it really kind of disturbing? Let me tell you. You guys, ducks are rapists. Male ducks rape a lot. A whole lot. Not a little bit. A whole lot. Females develop this labyrinth vagina because duck rape is so brutal and tough that women, the females, didn't have much of a say on who their partners would be. So females essentially have taken control of reproduction in order to try to be able to pick who their mate is. So it's kind of a weird thing with the fact that this was the response, the biological response of females for the onslaught of constant male duck rape, because it's pretty brutal, and it's not really a pleasant thing to think about for that. So we're getting into a rough area of duck society. Duck rape. Females essentially drive reproduction due to their complex vaginas' internal structures. Male ducks are very, very brutal. 3 to 5 male ducks might gang rape a single female, causing severe injury and in some cases even death. Now, we're getting to an interesting portion of the show. To explain the complexity of duck sexual reproduction, Sundance, along with Green Porno, worked with award-winning actress Isabella Rossellini to make educational videos on animal reproduction. So let's take a look at their interpretation of duck sex. So this is Duck Sex Theater. It's available on YouTube. You can go to the Sundance channel or just type into YouTube Isabella Rossellini, animal reproduction, green porno, Sundance, any of that. First thing I see when I open the page is labyrinth vaginas. Absolutely. So you guys ready for this interesting video about duck sex?
Are they seducing me? What am I, a duck? Oh, they all want to mate with me with their corkscrew penises. Ouch! Forced copulation! Get away! But I evolve vaginal complexity to keep control. Ouch! Ouch! One of them is raping me. I don't care. My vaginal structure is a twisted tunnel, a labyrinth. I can block the phallus. Woo! I can discombobulate the phallus. I can trick the phallus. But the duck I like. Hey, you, Drake. I want you to be my husband. A little to the right. A little to the left. There. There are my eggs. Oh, you will father my babies.
All right. Credits where credit is due. Sundance, in coordination with Green Porno Theater, Green Porno and Isabella Rossellini, did an entire series just on that. Oh my goodness, isn't it crazy? Came in at the perfect time. Yeah. So that particular series is actually quite good, and given it is, there's a lot of different, they work a lot on the costumes. They do try to make it as friendly as possible, but with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek type of humor. And so it might be a bit disturbing to some level, but I enjoy the entire series. But to be quite fair, things in the animal kingdom are very rarely PG. Very rarely PG. And it can be quite brutal. I have to say I'm probably more disturbed by the hunter and prey type of videos of, of lions ripping into zebras and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it is very true. It reminds you of the Cronenberg movie with the twin surgeons and the woman with the multiple uteruses. I would imagine it'd be worse the same person. But if you think ducks are weird, it gets even weirder, guys. I was sitting here thinking, boy, this is kind of, I was like, human society is strange. But I'm like, duck society is strange. So I'm like, no, human society is still kind of weird too. So, I mean, to be quite fair, some things that I see on the news are far more disturbing than duck sex theater from the Sundance collection involving Isabella Rossellini and educational videos. But at least it gives it a bit of an interesting look at how this actually happens without getting too terribly graphic and watching a bunch of ducks actually, gang rape and kill a female duck, because that happens. It's exceedingly brutal. So I kind of prefer more of an analog presentation rather than putting up a video of a bunch of ducks gang raping a female to the point of death, because that's very common and not necessarily something I really want to watch. Yes, the animal world is very, very cruel. So, oh my gosh, freaking duck sex. Strange. So essentially, when we're looking at this type of duck type of reproduction behavior, yeah, like intentionally starving children for war profiteering, yeah, I really don't want to watch that either. It's pretty horrible. There's lots of awful stuff on the news anyway. I dare say duck sex theater involving an academy, I think Isabella Rossellini is an Academy Award-winning actress. At least where they're trying to educate the population in interesting and wildly creative ways. To me, I think I would much rather watch that. In my personal opinion. I don't go around saying that at parties, say, hey, let's watch this entire series on animal reproduction. It is an icebreaker of sorts, but I just don't necessarily go throwing that in people's faces. So it's not necessarily something, but it's relevant to what we're talking about here. I'll link I'll make a little playlist and link you to it. Humans are way more messed up, and we're going to talk a little bit about how humans are kind of messing up the bird population anyway. You've been to worse parties. So when we're dealing with duck rape, this form of sexual reproduction seems counterintuitive to what would be a positive direction in the evolution of this particular species. Most other birds, find more pleasant ways to have babies. They rub their little cloacas together in order to produce children. The males have sperm within their cloaca, and the females take it in that way. Ducks are involved in violent sexual practices where their bodies have evolved due to these practices. So essentially, their anatomy has evolved because of their behaviors. Their sexual reproductive anatomy is evolved for this reason. Female ducks die in this process, oftentimes, which means babies are not born. Eggs are not laid. So female ducks develop these complex vaginas due to the rampant duck rape. Males have developed ballistic corkscrew penises in order to keep up with the females. It seems that following the order of the other birds would mean a better chance of a thriving species, but ducks seem to continue their sexual behavior, which will further drive their body sexual structure formation. This is coevolution. Females will get more complicated with their vaginas, and males will get more complicated with their corkscrew ballistic penises. This is such a strange form of evolution where you can see the body structures evolve because of the sexual behaviors. So it's pretty strange. Duck and cover. They can't all be great. Oh my goodness. I'm catching up on stuff. I go to the wrong parties. Oh my goodness. I probably do. And Portland ducks are weird. Oh goodness. I'll put a link to that particular series by Isabella Rossellini in the description, and you can check it out on your own time with all of the other interesting ways that animals do their thing. So, let's talk about another interesting thing. Ducks and gay. Ducks are involved in homosexual activity. But this is common. This isn't something that's unusual. About 1,500 species of birds exhibit homosexual type of behavior. So this isn't something that's strange. And so many people are like, well, this isn't natural. Homosexuality it's very natural. And we see it regularly in the animal kingdom. Yes, organized chaos, ducks. Organized Chaos, if you don't know, is the artist that makes a lot of my artwork on my Patreon account. She's a young digital artist, and she's been working on a piece about ducks, and she wants to share that as associated artwork with the show. So do check out her work. She does really, really good stuff. She's pretty cool. So let's talk a bit about ducks and homosexuality. It's extremely common among the bird species. There's nothing unusual about it. It's a very natural process. Now, one example where I've seen the media kind of twist homosexuality in ducks is the blue duck extinction. It's not because of homosexuality. Some newspapers report a gay blue duck couple in one of the England zoos that are derailing attempts to save the species. It is important to note that these ducks are native to New Zealand and are on the brink of extinction due to stoats and rats devastating the population. So, blue ducks, when they are laying their eggs, it's a very, very, very fragile time frame. And it's really easy for rats and stoats to be able to prey upon these eggs and take them. So homosexuality is not the reason why blue ducks are on the brink of extinction. So don't believe the reports you hear that homosexuality is derailing the progress of the blue duck species. The extinction of birds overall, any type of bird species, is largely due to the activities of humans. We are ushering the next mass extinction, one not seen since the dinosaurs. There have been 5 mass extinctions, and we are currently the cause of the 6th. Now, let's shift to something entirely different. You guys ready to hear about some weirdness? Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. So that would account for the several dead ducks that are being found at a local lake. It's been speculated that a person was doing it. That's not cool. Yeah, ducks don't die by the gay. They're not extinct because they're gay. That's not it either. So, they're not doing that. It's pretty interesting. Get your ducks in a row. I'm trying. Oh, goodness. So, I'm trying to catch up. First frogs, now this. Yeah, for real. Oh, goodness. Lead, follow, or get the duck out of the way. You guys are funny. All right. Blame the internet. Let's just blame the internet for a lot of things. All right. So you guys ready for this little interesting tidbit of information? I don't know if you've heard about this, but duck necrophilia is a thing. Oh, ducks have sex with their dead. At least it's been reported, and it was first observed in 1995. Now, what they're saying is it tends to be gay ducks. I mean, I can't imagine that a female duck, given how the fact that ducks have their penises, they're kept inside, and then they come out, it wouldn't be like female ducks trying to go at it with male ducks, because it doesn't work that way in the biology. So this was first observed in 1995. It's so unusual. And you can actually, this paper is available on the internet, and I have a link to it in my sources, and you can have access to it on my website, ScientistMel.com. So the first case of duck necrophilia was observed in 1995 among mallards of the Anas platyrincos species. Oh, goodness. So there is a scientist named Moliker from the Nature Museum in Rotterdam, reported his findings and added pictures to this particular paper. I will spare you the pictures. He witnessed the following, and I quote from his paper. On June 5th, 1995, an adult male mallard collided with the glass facade of the Nature Museum, Rotterdam, and died. Another drake mallard raped the corpse almost continuously for 75 minutes. The author disturbed the scene and secured the dead duck. Dissection showed that the rape victim indeed was of the male sex. It is concluded that the mallards were engaged in an attempted rape flight that resulted in the first described case of homosexual necrophilia in the mallard. So, it is funny how Disney never do this. I saw a pigeon trying it on with a dead pigeon a little while ago. I didn't watch long enough to confirm penetration. Yeah, it's pretty weird. So essentially, the mallard duck, the living one, raped the dead duck for 75 minutes. And so he did an autopsy. They saw that they did an autopsy of the dead duck, confirming that it was indeed male. So many questions there, and none of them are like really something I think that'd be fun. Well, anyway, so with this particular case, the Guardian reported that his findings have provoked interest in duck necrophilia. This particular paper also earned this author the Nobel IG Prize as if you're not familiar with the Nobel Prize IG, it's research that's not normally done. It's kind of like a gag type of funny Nobel Prize, to where you have extremely unusual research that's unlikely research. And so this was gay necrophiliac duck sex that won this particular author a Nobel Prize, an IG. You know, it's you can go and find all kinds of. I think one guy won a prize one year for determining the velocity of how fast pigeons actually poo. Just random fun stuff. So hey, TMI is true. Yeah, it's pretty weird research. So IG Nobel Prize. Look that up sometime. You'll find all kinds of weird, interesting research that you didn't know existed. All right. So the Guardian reported that his particular findings provoked interest in duck necrophilia, as this is not something that's commonly seen. It's not widely rampant. You don't have scientists going, duck necrophilia? Wow. But now, since this has been observed, this is kind of sparking more interesting research. It's like, just how strange are we getting with ducks? But it seems like there are other cases have been reported in the U.S., not necessarily with ducks, but within the squirrel population. So perhaps there are other unusual behaviors in the animal kingdom amongst other species, but I suppose that is a different episode altogether. So what do you guys think about all of this? But do the male ducks have a twisted anus? Not that I'm aware of. I would think it would make it a lot harder to defecate if you have a corkscrew twisted anus. So perhaps maybe the male ducks, that would be an interesting bit of research. Why is it that male ducks engage in homosexual activities, but the female ducks have the labyrinth vagina structures on the inside? Perhaps this is maybe a pleasure thing for the male ducks. It's not like a constant gang rape scenario where you have to compete with 3 to 5 other ducks on one female, hoping that your sperm is the sperm that gets to the eggs. And she'll just block off portions of her vagina anyway, except for the duck that she likes. So it's a weird evolution type of thing, because there is a type of competition called sperm competition, and we see this within various species of animals, where you'll have I think lions do this. You'll have multiple lions sometimes that will try. They'll not only compete for control of the herd, but then they'll go back through once if the lionesses had already been, copulating with the initial male, then the other male will come in, kill the head male of the tribe, and then go and immediately start copulating with the lionesses. So, yes, Brian, you came in a bit late. You missed the gang raping ducks. Yes, it's 3 to 5 at a time, and sometimes the female dies. So you wouldn't think that this type of behavior would be sticking around on an evolutionary type of basis. And so rather than the species dying out due to extremely destructive and violent behavior, the females just developed labyrinth vaginas to cut off the raping ducks and allow only the ducks that they want to fertilize their eggs. It's strange. Pride not heard, thank you. I'm still drinking my coffee, and I'm still on the first cup, and I'm fighting a cold, I think. So thank you for that. So it's a pretty strange bit of wow. So what do you guys think about all this? This is just, yeah, weird. My corkscrew mind. Isn't everybody, can't everybody think basically in a corkscrew type of mind? I think we're all labyrinths. Hello, Owen. So, yeah. It's really funny. I have my rubber ducks here. Somebody brought them to me. I'm not going to reenact any kind of disturbing, but I have Wonder Woman here. Wonder Woman duck. It's ducked up. It is. So I'm not going to reenact anything with my ducks. I have Wonder Woman and Batman. The Joker. Where it will not do a reenactment of duck theater for that. You have some unique conversational material this evening. For those of you just joining us, shall I one more time? I know. I thought it was pretty weird. Why did they give Wonder Woman the duck? Why did she get that on the rubber ducks? So you guys want to watch the duck video one more time? It's only 2 minutes. You guys want to watch it one more time for the people that just showed up? So you get kind of a sum up. One more time for the people in the back, who just walked in to our talk. Yeah. All right. One more time.
Are they seducing me? What am I, a duck? Oh, they all want to mate with me with their corkscrew penises. Ouch! Forced copulation! Get away! But I evolved vaginal complexity to keep control. Ouch! Ouch! One of them is raping me. I don't care. My vaginal structure is a twisted tunnel, a labyrinth. I can block the phallus. Woo! I can discombobulate the phallus. I can trick the phallus. But the duck I like. Hey, you, Drake. I want you to be my husband. A little to the right. A little to the left. There. There are my eggs. Oh, you will father my babies.
Okay, what I'll do, I'll put the link to this in, let me see if I can find it really quickly. So, that's Sundance TV. So you can go to Sundance TV and check it out there. I'll see if I can get a link to you. That's some good meme material. Just wait till you watch the other episodes. What I can do is I can incorporate that in case we ever talk about another animal reproduction. Disney won't do this on DuckTales. Probably not. Frustrated atheist. You just witnessed an Academy Award-winning actress doing an episode of from a series that she did with Sundance TV and Green Porno on animal reproduction. I believe they have some for ladybugs as well, which is pretty weird. So, oh gosh, at least we know why Donald never bothered to wear pants. Well, you know, he didn't need to. All male ducks, their penises are internal. And then when it's time to come out, it comes out, and then they add tissue to it. They can make it as long as half of their body. And it becomes a literal penis measuring contest amongst the male ducks. So, yeah, so they'll add tissue to their phallus to compete with the other male ducks in the area. And some of them can even launch their penises off of their bodies into the women like ballistics. And launch their penises into, yeah, it can be as long as about half of their body. Yeah. But, you know, the male ducks, from what I've read, are conservative, the ones. So if there's like males that have smaller penises, they won't add so much and make it like super huge. So, you know, they'll just be like, I'm larger than his is, you really want me better, you know. So it's kind of weird. Oh my goodness. So it's pretty unusual. It's pretty unusual, this. Oh goodness. Yeah, and then the reason why the female, so let's just kind of, I guess I can go to this particular screen and kind of hop over here. So this is kind of what we've learned today. We have learned how ducks reproduce. We've talked about how they compare to other birds. Other birds don't have the ballistic corkscrew penises. In fact, they don't even have penises altogether. But, you know, hey. Anywho, and what is with their society? They're rapists and necrophiliacs. They also exhibit homosexual activity, but so does 1,500 other species of birds. So yeah, so that's not a big deal. Homosexuality is completely natural. And this is a type of evolutionary oddity. So that's kind of what we've learned about today. It is a detachable penis. That's exactly right. But they don't want to put too much tissue into that if they don't have to. And 3 to 5 ducks will gang rape a female duck at any time, and sometimes it causes severe injury and can even cause the female to die. So it's pretty weird that this is still sticking around in duck behavior, because it doesn't seem conducive. It doesn't seem conducive to the progression of the species. You did miss the raping of dead ducks, frustrated atheist. You did. And the first observation of this type of behavior was with mallard ducks in 1995. I'm glad I'm not a duck too. That just doesn't seem like it's just weird. It's unusual. They have large peepees, of course. The women ducks die. Oh my goodness. Well, it's not just that. They don't have to make it that large. They primarily die due to the brutality and violence of the male ducks in a gang rape session. Talk about a duck dynasty. Yeah, for real. It's pretty unusual. Their behaviors and such. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. So it's like, what? So when I was going through, and I'll post all of my slides associated with this particular talk on my website, ScientistMel.com. I'm doing that today. I'm appearing on Godless Cranium's channel later on this evening to talk about obstacles for women in STEM, both anecdotal and research-based information. So do check out Shannon Q and Godless Cranium on their channel. You can go see that. Ducks are cute and sweet, except when they're trying to have babies. Penguins are pretty rad too. Yes. So do check out their channels. And then on Sunday, I believe I'll be on Sunday Mass this Sunday with Mr. Atheist. So I'll be on his show on Sunday. I'm Godless Cranium this evening. And I'm still working on my show This Week in BS with Katie Paulson. Waiting on Gonna Go For It and his awesome intro. He also made the intro for these shows. Yeah, it's really hard to like male ducks after all this, man. It really kind of is. You're kind of just like in this current human climate right now, what we're dealing with our society. Yeah, Daffy and Donald are probably normal because I would think they would honor consent. They don't seem like the kind that were just kind of weird. But, you know, them's the breaks sometimes. But that's pretty strange. So here are all of my sources. So I'm going to show you all these, and I know you can't see all these, but this is what they are. New Scientist and National Geographic, as well as Live Science and Scientific American, have a lot of information on ducks. And then I'll put links to this. All of this is available, will be available on my website, so you can check it out. Another thing, I'm going to take a moment to thank my super awesome patrons, Tony, James, Lauren, Jen, Carl, Melanie, Patrick, Daniel, Stephen, Paula, Tim, Carrie, Cersei, Keith, Duke, James, Andy, Zachary, Tony, Bo, Stephen, Sarah, Chris, Graham, Dragnot, Godless Iowan, Jennifer, Corey, and Richard. Richard's a new patron. Thank you, Richard. I'm getting brand new artwork from Organized Chaos. She's hopped over into this chat. We're going to post that on my Patreon account. It's artwork associated with the topics of the show, so patrons have access to that, as well as special privileges in the Discord chat. And when I do my podcast episodes, they get early access to that, as well as other things and other benefits. If you're one of my higher paying patrons, you get to pick out which particular print that Organized Chaos has done. I print it out and I mail it to you for your own use and purposes to put on whatever wall you want. And so if you're one of my higher paying patrons and there's something that you'd like to have, let me know. And I'll be happy to get that to you. If it's a mug, if it's a t-shirt, let's talk and see what's going on with that. Thank me for just being awesome. So where can you find me? You can find me everywhere on the internet, ScientistMel.com, Patreon.com, Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook as well. I'm all over. If you haven't liked, shared, or subscribed on YouTube, please give that a go. I'm trying to get monetization, which means I'll be able to monetize my videos and have advertisers to kind of contribute to that as well. All of my patron money goes straight to just expenses and costs. So I essentially pay for, and I do pay for advertising, but what I advertise are science stuff. It's not like, come buy this and this. It's like, check out this latest thing in science. Check out that latest thing in science. So I boost science literacy through the form of Facebook ads as well as Twitter promotion. And that's a lot of what I do as part of my outreach. And guess what, guys? There's a local news dude that's interested in interviewing me for the news here locally. He reached out to me. He's a person who watches one of my shows. Don't want to jinx it too much, but that's pretty cool and pretty awesome. So So, yes, so I'm probably going to be on the local news soon. He wants to spotlight people like myself who are in science communication and kind of show that you can use the internet as a good means to promote different things. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited. So we're working out days and times, and he's a really nice guy. So that's pretty neat. And I'll let you know when I hear back about NASA on whether or not I've become one of their science ambassadors, which would also be really cool. News dude is totally a technical term. It's scientific, man. News dude. Yes. A dude who does the news. So that'll be neat. Well, thank you. So I guess I'll wrap up here. We've been on for 45 minutes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular episode of The Science of Ducks. Please do like, share, and subscribe. That's me hanging out here, doing my thing. And if you haven't subscribed, or if you know any teachers, I actually do stuff for teachers as well. So I can make content for your classrooms. Just let me know. It can be in the form of 1-minute videos, briefly explaining a concept through slides, as well as engaging and interacting with your students. Hit me up in my DMs on Twitter, ScientistMel.com, and you can see me there. I'm so glad you guys are here to enjoy this with me. Have a super fantastic Saturday. Catch me on Godless Cranium tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and I will be on Mr. Atheist Show on Sunday for Sunday Mass. Have a fantastic Saturday. Thank you for being here. Sending squishy science hugs. Bye.